Imagine standing at the absolute pinnacle of human achievement, looking out over an empire that sparkles with gold, where every desire is satisfied before you even speak it. And yet, in the deepest silence of your heart, you feel like you are losing everything. This is not a hypothetical dilemma for the distant future. It is the untold story of King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, a ruler whose life serves as a terrifying warning for anyone today chasing the dream of having it all. Before we dive into the wreckage of a life once blessed beyond measure, please take a moment to join our growing community of seekers by clicking the subscribe button, as this ensures you never miss a revelation that could save your soul from the subtle decay of worldly success. We often think that if we just had more money, more status, or more comfort, our walk with God would be easier. But the tragedy of Solomon proves that abundance is often the most dangerous trap of all. Why did the man who literally asked for wisdom end up constructing idols with his own hands? And what does his catastrophic descent tell us about the hidden spiritual dangers lurking in your own current prosperity? To understand the unraveling of Solomon, we must first look at the man at the start of his journey. When he knelt before God at Gibeon, he was humble, recognizing that he was but a child surrounded by giants, and he requested only the discernment to lead God's people. God loved that request so much that he granted Solomon not just wisdom, but riches and honor that exceeded every king before or since. It was a golden age. The temple was built, the borders were secured, and the word of his intellect traveled to the ends of the earth. But here is the secret most people overlook. In the middle of this glorious ascent, the seeds of destruction were being planted in the soil of his constant ease. Solomon lived in a world where he could have anything, do anything, and go anywhere. The terrifying truth about human nature is that when we have everything we need, we stop needing the one who provides it. The constant presence of God began to be replaced by the presence of things. Do you feel your own prayer life shrinking as your bank account grows or as your life becomes more comfortable? That is exactly where the trap door hides, waiting to drop you into a life of spiritual numbness. The transition from a man of God to a man of the world did not happen overnight, but moved with the slow, creeping lethality of a vine choking a tree. Solomon began to rely on his own diplomatic genius instead of divine protection. He began to form alliances through marriage with foreign nations that God had explicitly told the Israelites to avoid. These foreign wives were the source of spiritual compromise for Solomon. He thought he could manage the influence of these women, that he was too wise to be led astray. But that is the first lie of the proud. He forgot that the heart is deceptive above all things. He treated the commandments of God like suggestions rather than foundations. When you start negotiating with your values, you have already lost the war. Solomon's life shifted from a pursuit of God to a pursuit of experience. He built, he planted, he accumulated, and he experimented with every pleasure known to humanity. He sought meaning in architecture, in art, in music, and in human relationships. But the more he filled his life with these things, the more empty he felt. It is the paradox of the modern age. We are the most stimulated generation in history, yet we are the loneliest and most spiritually hollow. The climax of this moral decay is truly shocking. By the end of his life, the man who built the temple for the God of Israel was tolerating and even funding the worship of pagan deities just to keep his many wives happy. He traded the creator of the universe for the idols of the world. It is easy to look at Solomon and judge him, but consider the subtle idols in your own life right now. What are the things you tolerate that you know separate you from the presence of God? Is it a career that demands your total devotion? Is it a digital lifestyle that consumes every waking minute? Is it the pride of believing you have figured out life well enough that you no longer need to depend on God for your daily bread? The tragedy of Solomon is that he was so blinded by his own wisdom that he couldn't see his own spiritual bankruptcy. He was a king who ruled the world but lost his soul in the process. This is the ultimate warning for those of us living in a culture that worships success, power, and comfort. If it happened to the wisest man in history, what makes us think we are immune? The weight of this revelation is heavy, but there is a path back from the brink. Solomon eventually realized the emptiness of his path, capturing his epiphany in the book of Ecclesiastes, where he famously declared that everything under the sun is vanity. He looked back at his pursuit of pleasure, wisdom, and wealth, and he realized he was chasing wind. The lesson he leaves for us is not to avoid success, but to ensure that success does not avoid God. The spiritual danger is not the abundance itself, but the way we use it to construct a fortress around our ego, distancing ourselves from the necessity of grace. You see, God does not want your gold, your success, or your status. He wants your undivided heart. When you make God the architect of your life, your abundance becomes a tool for His kingdom, rather than a weapon of your own destruction. Think about how many times you have ignored that small, still voice in your spirit because you were too busy managing your success. That voice is your lifeline. If you are feeling that the distance between you and God is growing, it is not because God has moved. It is because you have built structures of comfort that have blocked the view. The reality of our situation is that we are all living in a culture that mimics the court of Solomon. We are surrounded by instant gratification, technological miracles, and the constant pressure to be more, own more, and do more. It is a siren song that pulls us away from the simplicity of a life lived for God. But you have a choice. You can continue the pursuit of the fleeting and the temporal, or you can pivot today. You can choose to dismantle the idols you have allowed to take residence in the temple of your heart. It requires brutal honesty. You must ask yourself, if God were to strip away the success, the relationships, and the comforts that I currently rely on, would there be anything left of my relationship with Him? If the answer is no, or if you aren't sure, then you are exactly where you need to be to start a true revival in your spirit. The story of Solomon is not just a sad tale of a fallen king. It is a wake-up call for a generation that is currently sleepwalking toward the same trap. We need to reclaim the discipline of the wilderness. Even in the middle of our success, we need to find intentional ways to remember our dependence on God. This means setting aside time to pray when we don't feel like we need anything. It means giving back when we are most tempted to hoard. It means surrounding ourselves with people who will challenge our pride rather than feed it. Solomon lacked the one thing that could have saved him from himself: a community of accountability. He was so powerful that no one dared tell him he was straying. You and I have the advantage of family, friends, and a community of believers who can hold us accountable. Do not despise the correction of others, because your ego will never tell you the truth about your own decline. The most successful person in the room is not the one with the most influence, but the one who has the most humility before God. When you embrace this truth, you stop being a victim of your own success and start being a steward of God's grace. As we bring this study to a close, consider where you are standing today. Are you on the mountain of success, distracted by the view, forgetting the one who helped you climb? Or are you in the valley, feeling the emptiness of a life that has been chasing the wrong things? Regardless of where you are, the invitation remains the same. God is waiting for you to return to the simplicity of that first prayer, the prayer for wisdom, the prayer for guidance, and the prayer for a heart that is fully His. Don't let your blessings become barriers. Don't let your accomplishments become your idols. The trap of Solomon is real, but it is not inevitable. You can have a life of impact and still maintain a deep, vibrant, and unbreakable connection with God, but it requires a daily surrender that most people are unwilling to make. Are you willing to be different? Are you willing to prioritize the presence over the possession? The path forward is paved with intentionality. Start by creating a sacred space in your day where the noise of the world is silenced and the voice of God is prioritized. Reread the words of Solomon in Ecclesiastes and let them pierce your heart, not just as literature, but as a roadmap for what to avoid. If you find yourself drifting, realize that it is a signal to stop, reflect, and realign. You were designed for an eternal connection, not for the temporary highs of this world. Your life is meant to be a temple, a place where the glory of God is seen through your actions, your choices, and your priorities. Do not exchange your birthright for the temporary comforts of this age. Stay alert, stay hungry for the truth, and keep your eyes fixed on the one who is the true source of wisdom and peace. If this message has stirred something within you, if you feel that familiar tug of the Spirit calling you back to center, then I invite you to take a bold step today. Do not just watch this and move on to the next distraction. I challenge you to go into the comment section right now and declare your commitment to keeping God at the center, regardless of the success or challenges you are facing. Share your thoughts, share your struggles, and let's lift each other up in prayer right here, right now. It is time to stop playing small with our spiritual lives and start living with the urgency and passion of those who know that their treasure is not in this world, but in the kingdom that never ends. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who is currently walking through the fire of success or the darkness of struggle, and ensure you are subscribed to the channel. Your support helps us continue to produce these deep dives into the Word, and together we can turn the tide against the distractions of this age and build a generation that is truly connected to God. Stay faithful, stay humble, and remember that with God, even the greatest traps can be turned into stepping stones toward a deeper, more profound relationship with Him. The journey is long and the temptations are many, but you are not walking this path alone. His grace is sufficient. His power is made perfect in weakness, and His love is the only thing that will never fail you. May you find the strength to walk in wisdom, the courage to cast down your idols, and the peace that surpasses all understanding as you keep your heart fixed firmly on the King of Kings. We will see you in the next video, as we continue to explore the mysteries and revelations that lead to a truly transformed life. Keep seeking, keep praying, and keep trusting, because the best part of your walk with God is yet to come. Your legacy isn't what you build for yourself, but what you build for the glory of His name. And that is a foundation that will stand for all eternity. Reach out, connect with this community, and let's finish this race with our hearts fully intact and our eyes aimed at the heavens. Every moment is an opportunity to choose God over the world. Choose wisely, choose today, and choose the life He has called you to live. You have been given the wisdom of the ages. Now go and live it with the power of the Holy Spirit. God bless you on this journey of a lifetime.